Shalom friends, welcome to Daf Reactions Gittin 77. Part of the Jewish divorce ritual involves the soon-to-be ex-husband or his representative dropping the divorce document, the get, into his wife's hands and her catching it, kind of like Dobby catching that sock and becoming a free elf. When I went through this ritual, did I make my catch overly dramatic in order to try to get a laugh out of the court and the witnesses? I did. Yes, I did. And it worked. In today's daf, we learn more about this ritual as it was done in the time of the Talmud. The Mishnah says that a get doesn't even technically need to be handed directly to the wife. It just needs to be put in her personal space, an extension of her hand, if you will. So let's say a man is too chicken shit to face the woman he's divorcing. He can make a paper airplane out of that get and throw it into the courtyard in which she is standing. Or he can drop it into her lap at the table while she's just trying to do a crossword puzzle. Or he could yeet it over the roof of her house, like Walter White with that pizza. Either way, she is just as divorced as if he handed it to her like a normal person. Now, there is some disagreement, I'm sure you're shocked to hear, about how exactly to implement this. Ola says, well, this only really works if she's standing like in the courtyard doing some gardening or tanning or whatever. Wherever the get lands needs to be in her immediate proximity. Rabbi Oshaya says, no, even if the husband throws the get into her courtyard, but she's not there. She's in a house in an Airbnb in another city vacationing with her girlfriends, trying to get a break from all the drama. That's enough. She's still divorced. She doesn't need to be standing right there for it to be effective. The courtyard thing does prove challenging in other ways as well. The Gemara asks, what if a man threw a get to his wife while she's standing in the courtyard, but it fell on something else, like, for example, an inflatable above-ground pool? Rav Yosef says, well, if the pool is 4 by 4 cubits, it's technically its own domain, so not part of the courtyard, and she's not divorced. If it was a smaller pool for kids and or dogs, then she is divorced because it is within her domain of the courtyard. It's not its own thing. The Gemara asks, so what if it's 4 cubits? The only way this makes sense is if the incident happens in his courtyard, but that doesn't belong to her anyway, so the get wouldn't be effective if it lands there. Maybe he just lent her the courtyard to conduct this business. It's like the DMZ of the situation, and the pool was not considered part of it. This fascinating debate has led me to a series of questions of my very own. For example, could an animal serve as an extension of a woman's hand in this scenario? Let's say there's a woman named Chava, and Chava's husband throws the get over the fence into her yard, but before it hits the ground of her yard, her golden retriever gets it, retrieves it. That's their job. Is Chava divorced? And if so, does anything change if the dog is not a retriever who will bring the get to Chava, but rather a highly implausible Chihuahua Pitbull hybrid who is more likely to grab it out of the air like a frisbee, shake it, maybe tear it a little bit, partially consume the get, not bring it to Chava at all? Is she divorced then? These are the real questions, the highly probable scenarios that I wonder about. I do.